So one of the things that I've been doing to this apparently the fretboard had shrunk a little bit. It could be just a matter of manufacturing error, but I think it probably was a little bit of shrinkage where the fretboard got dry and shrunk a little bit, and the maple, which was probably better cooked, did not shrink as much, and so there was a tiny little lip around the edge of the fretboard, which is not comfortable to play with. Easy to fix though. And you know, now this is your own liability what you do to your guitar, but you can take a straight razor, or I have this nice Smith & Wesson flat blade, and take it, and you're with 90 degrees, right? You're not whittling it, you're not cutting it, you are shaving it just the tiniest bit right along the edge of where there is a little bit of gap and overlap. Now I checked it very closely to make sure there's no separation, so I don't need to do any re-gluing. The fretboard is still mated perfectly well, but it just shrunk a little bit on the fretboard and made a little bit of a lip. And what you end up getting is this tiny little bit of microscopic sawdust. You shouldn't be getting chunks or anything like that. You are smoothing it and shaving it down with the edge of the knife, right? Just think like an old-timey straight blade, right? Straight razor for shaving. Same idea here, and you're just very gentle. You're not cutting, you're not biting down into it, and you're getting this tiny little bit of sawdust. And after you get reasonably well, it's not going to be perfectly smooth. You're going to want to come back with either high grit sandpaper, or I've been using this Dremel with a buffing polishing. It's like a synthetic wool kind of, and doing this up and down the edge of it. And the combination is now I've got a nice smooth neck that's not cutting into my hand as I slide my hand. Now another aspect that while I have the strings off, I'm going to give a polishing with a leveling block, just a mild polishing. If I need to come back later and deal with particular areas, that's you know, another song for another day. For right now, I'm just giving it a nice polishing and leveling with the high grit. This is, I believe, 1600, 1200, and yeah, 1200 grit, and not pressing down or anything, just sliding it to make sure everything is nice and smooth. And then I'll come back again with that Dremel and with the polishing bit and hit each fret, making sure, you know, run your fingers down. It's particularly important for the side that your fingers slide on, that all the fret ends are good. Fret sprouts are something to look for. That's where the frets have started to pull up. I'm not seeing any fret sprouts on here. That's a matter of getting soft clamps and clamping it back down, and it's not, you know, terribly hard to deal with. But then dressing the ends, that sort of thing, with the polishing bit will make sure that slides with your hand are nice and smooth. And I'm not getting any super roughness or anything. There's no right off the bat sharp bit, so this might have been polished before. It might be factory, who's to say, but it's not in terrible shape. But you know, it's always more polishing and more brushing like that is always better. Now in terms of fretboard care, while you have the strings off is the best time to work on the fretboard. And now there was no damage to it or anything, so I don't have anything to repair, but it was very dry and somewhat scuzzy, so I used my guitar polish to clean it down and get rid of any like finger oil deposits and that sort of thing. And all of the inlays I can feel are still in there real good. Nothing needs to be re-glued or anything like that. So all of that's good. And after getting it nice and cleaned up, I'm now coming back with, and this is carnauba wax that I make from raw carnauba flakes. And at some point, if I have enough interest, I could make this on a larger scale and sell it on the channel or something like that. But I really like using a carnauba wax, particularly one that is heavier with the wax, not like a car wax where it's got a tiny bit of carnauba. But the carnauba is great for creating. Carnauba's got the highest natural melting point of any natural derived wax, and so it really creates a very strong and solid barrier, and it is derived from leaves. It grows on its leaves, and they dry it and it turns into flakes, and then you cut it with oil to make it workable. And working it down in, it helps to maintain the moisture of the wood, and I like the wax better than, you know, the problem with oils is you don't want to leave them on there. The oil can actually soften the wood. This isn't going to soften the wood. It has some oil in it. As I said, to make it, it has to be mixed with an oil to create the workable wax, but it's not just wet sitting on there. It rather is creating a coating, and after you've worked it in real good and let it set for a little while, then coming back and polishing it, and it will really bring out the luster of the wood and just really create a nice feel for your hand and great long-term protection as well. And so now I'm coming back with a second cloth. This is a rough spun cotton shop towel, so it doesn't have any additives or anything. It's perfect for this sort of job. And now just polishing the wax down into the fretboard. If you don't polish it, it can be a little bit tacky, a little sticky, but giving it a good polish will make a nice smooth surface. So, take a look at that. That crusty, dry fretboard is now beautiful. It's got great luster to it. It's a very, very nice coloration. It's a nice dark, I believe probably laurel. It's got some very nice stripes in it. Great wood, just beautiful. It's kind of a warm, deep brown. And so now we have a very nice and feels much nicer. Got rid of that lip issue right there. So we are one step closer to having a playable guitar. Alright, so I have got this all cleaned up and oiled up and smoothed out. I've got the neck all nice and straight, and the fretboard feels good now. I oiled the tuners and made sure everything was good and tight, and the tuners are all still in very good shape. I got everything all oiled up. I located a new because it didn't come with a tremolo arm. So this one uses a standard screw-in metric size tremolo arm, so that's done there. The only thing I was not able to, I've just been looking in all my boxes of stuff, I could not find a bridge saddle. And so I'm going to need to order one bridge saddle, and until I get that in I can't use the high E, but for right now I can get the other 5 strings on and see how the fretboard is doing, see how the frets are, see how the neck feels, do all that stuff, and start to get this thing at least initially playable so you can hear what it sounds like.